Hey everybody, Ervits Assessment, we're back. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share. So today we're going to go over UFC Fight Night Holm versus Aldana. I remember I went over 3 fights. I did not do good this week. I went 1 for 3 basically. So yeah, it wasn't good. So let's go right into the fight. So the first fight that I went over, I did not get correctly, was in the women's bantamweight division. It was number 1 Jermaine Durandami against number 4 Juliana Pena. Now, if you remember, I said I thought Pena was gonna win this fight just because I thought she was gonna take it to the ground. And well, in the first round she struggled a little bit. She was getting worked on the feet by Durandami, but at the very end of the round she got a takedown. So that was good, because in the second round she then takes Durandami down. She gets control, doesn't really do much, I would say, but I mean, she did get some nice punches, a little bit of ground and pounding, but nothing serious to make Durandami work. But now, in the third round, Pena goes for a single leg takedown, and she gets her down, but she had her head open, and Durandami, again, who's a striker and does not have a submission victory under her belt, gets Pena in a guillotine and puts her to sleep. I mean, she was out for a while. My wife was even like, hey, I think the ref should stop in and jump. And you could see the ref goes over, picks up her hand, and it just drops out. She's out cold. And Durandami, this was her first submission victory. That was impressive. I mean, again, because I thought when it did go to the ground, Pena would be the one to take over and win and maybe do something, or at least have control. And she got slept. So for Pena, she'll probably stay, I think, around number 4. She should fight the loser of the main event, which I'll go over. For Durandami, that was impressive. I mean, to get a submission victory like that for her first ever victory was really good. So we'll go into what she should do next, and I'll talk about that after we talk about the main event, because it's correlates there. So the one fight I did get right was in the heavyweight division. It was the co-main event. It was Yorgan de Castro against Carlos Felipe. Now, both guys were just standing, trading shots. I mean, I didn't think this would be a good main event, but I mean, co-main event, but it was good, and they were just landing. But you could see Felipe was landing the better shots. I mean, he was hurting de Castro, both in the first and the second round. And in the third round, you could see Yorgan was just kind of out of it. So all he would do was just push Felipe to the cage and just do little knees like this. Little knees like this, little pity pat punches, nothing. And Felipe was like, dude, like, really? Like, what is he doing? Like, telling the ref, like, dude, break this up, break this up. But I think, personally, I thought Felipe won that third round because he did have a good combination in the beginning, while Yorgan didn't do anything in the third round. So it was a unanimous decision victory for Felipe. I was right. I knew that was going to happen. They're both unranked, so for Felipe, maybe another unranked guy, just to see, because he did lose his last fight prior to that. So we'll see how he goes. But that was a fun co-main event. And in the main event, it's also in the women's bantamweight division, you had number 2 Holm against number 6 Irene Aldana. So remember, I had thought Aldana would win this fight, and oh man, she did not do anything at all. Holm dominated her from start to finish. Let me tell you the other crazy thing about that. Aldana, in her previous UFC fights, was only taken down twice. Okay, so that's impressive, because that's I think she had the highest takedown defense of any woman in the bantamweight division. Well, she was taken down 5 times in this fight by Holm, who again, not known for her takedowns. She was just dominating. She just punched. She was just circling, hitting. Aldana was like chasing her in like a circle and was like not doing anything. She just couldn't do anything. It was an impressive performance by Holm. I mean, it was light work for her, really. It looked like a glorified sparring match, honestly, because Aldana didn't do anything at all, and she just couldn't. She just had no plan B. She couldn't cut off the cage. She was just chasing Holm in a circle, and it just didn't work. So now for Holly, I think because remember, they both have lost. Both Durandami and Holm have lost to Amanda Nunes, who's the champ. Personally, what I would like to see is them fight each other, while Nunes is still, maybe she'll defend her other belt against Megan Anderson, which neither of them can fight because it's in a higher weight class. And because there is no clear-cut #1 contender in the bantamweight division, because Amanda Nunes has pretty much beaten everybody, and I was hoping if Pena or Aldana would win, maybe that would catapult them into a title shot because she had not faced them yet. But because she beat Durandami and Holm, I think they should fight against each other. They're #1 and #2. They both had impressive victories. Let them fight against each other. Let them, whoever wins, then fight Nunes when she's ready to return. That would be my personal feeling. So that will be that. So now, what we're going to go over this weekend's card is UFC Fight Night, Marlon Moraes against Corey Sandhagen. All right. So I'm also going to go over 3 fights in that card. So hopefully I do better than I did last week. So yeah. So the first fight will be in the men's heavyweight division. It's 2 unranked guys. It's Ben Rothwell against Marcin Tybura. Now Rothwell is on a 2-fight winning streak. His last win was a split decision victory against Ovin St. Preux, who had moved up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. While Tybura is also on a 2-fight winning streak. He won his last fight against Maxim Grishin. Yeah, Maxim Grishin by unanimous decision. I'm going to go with Rothwell in this fight. He's got sneaky power. He's dangerous. He is the older guy because he's 38 and I think Tybura is 32. But Rothwell has more experience. He's been in there with the better guys. Tybura's just kind of been like on and off, on and off. He's still young, 32, but I'm going to go with Ben Rothwell for that victory there. The co-main event, I'm excited about this one. It's in the men's featherweight division. It's number 14, Edson Barbosa. Remember, he used to be in lightweight. Now he dropped down to featherweight. He will be fighting against Makwan Amirkhani. So Markwani has lost. I mean, has won 3 out of his last 5. He had his last submission. His last fight was a submission against Danny Henry. For Barbosa, he needs this fight in a bad way. He's in a 3-fight losing streak. He just lost his last fight. It was a close fight in a split decision loss to Danny Gay. Now he's lost to some big names. I mean, it's not like Barbosa's getting trounced by lesser guys. He lost to Felder. He lost to Gaethje. I mean, he's not losing to guys that are like, okay, they're not unranked. I mean, Gaethje's about to be fighting for a title in 2 weeks. So, again, the Ige fight was close. It could have went either way. I don't remember how I had it scored, but it honestly could have went either way. I wasn't disappointed with the decision. So for Barbosa, and I think Barbosa will get this victory. I think he'll snap his 3-fight losing streak. Again, he hasn't really been, well, I mean, in the last couple fights with Felder was a close fight with Ige, and I think he's now settling into the featherweight division. So I'm going to pick him to win. I don't know if he'll win by knockout, but he has crazy power and he has great stand-up. But I think he'll put it together, and I think he'll get his victory, and he'll basically be on the rebound. And I think, like, again, in this new division, I think he can present some problems for people. So I'd like to see him win and go from there. All right, and the main event. This is going to be fun in the men's bantamweight division because these are top 5 guys. So you have #1 ranked Marlon Moraes, who I met, and he's a really cool dude. That guy is really friendly. I actually had to have dinner with him. So I met through a friend of mine, and I got to meet a bunch of these fighters. So it was really cool. So Marlon Moraes was one of them. So he's super cool, and he is fighting against #4 Corey Sandhagen. Now, Moraes is won 4 of his last 5. His last victory was against Jose Aldo. It was a close fight. It was a split decision victory. I was okay with the decision. Some people thought that Aldo won the fight, but I was okay. I thought Moraes won. Moraes' only loss was he lost the belt to Henry. He didn't have the belt, but he lost in a championship fight against Henry Cejudo, who was the champ, who's retired now. That was actually, Moraes was actually doing good in the beginning of the fight, and then lost at the end, towards like the 2nd or 3rd round. I forgot which round it was, but he was looking good in the beginning and then lost. But he's still dangerous. He has power. He's really good he's good on the ground as well. Sandhagen is also very impressive. A young kid. He's won 4 of his last 5, but he lost his last fight against Aljamain Sterling in the 1st round, which was a few months ago. That's why I think the winner of that fight, which I think Sterling will get the title shot against the champion Jan, but I think if Sandhagen would have won, he would have got the shot against Petr Yan. But this is a good fight because right there, I think the winner of this fight will probably fight the winner of Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling if that fight gets set up, which it should. But I'm going to go with Marlon Moraes here. I think he has the power. I think I think he might fix that cardio issue. That's what happened to him in the Cejudo fight. Sandhagen's no joke, so he's got to take this fight very seriously. And it wouldn't surprise me if Sandhagen won, because he's very impressive, and he's been very impressive, and he's very young as well. But I'm going to go with Marlon Moraes. I mean, there is a reason why he's the #1 ranked guy. And like I said, from there, I'd hope he gets the title shot there. So, yeah, so that's going to be there. So remember, I am going with, in the heavyweight fight, the first one, Ben Rothwell. In the second fight, in the co-main, I'm going Edson Barbosa. And in the third fight, in the main event, I'm going with Marlon Moraes. So there's that. Also want to let you guys know, I'm going to be doing my first Ervits assessment on boxing. Because next weekend will be a huge fight with my favorite boxer, Vasily Lomachenko. He's fighting a dangerous opponent, Teofimo Lopez. There's bad blood there, but that's going to be my first boxing assessment there. So take a look out for that. And of course, as always, guys, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe. This is the Ervits assessment again. Peace.